Next on the Best of Idaho Life, meet a woman making a big difference for some real Idaho heroes.
I think she's fantastic.
Yeah, she take care of you?
She does very good.
Also, how 2 Treasure Valley dogs have evolved into comic book heroes, thanks to a local artist. Plus, these children are learning more about their heritage.
And Donnie, you and Nick can be a partner? I want to be his partner. His? That's a her.
One step and turn at a time. And you've heard of bird watching. We show you one hobby that's just plain different. Those stories are straight ahead. Join us for a lighter look at the people and places in the Gem State. Idaho's News Channel 7 brings you the best of Idaho life.
Thanks for joining us again this week. I'm Scott Conklin. Well, every now and then we like to recognize volunteers in our community. People like Betty McAllister, who don't have to do what they do, but in their own small way make a world of difference in the lives they touch. Idaho Life reporter John Miller has her story.
At the VA hospital, where the only place lonelier than an empty corridor is a darkened room, something incredible is about to happen. Despite what she calls an unusually bad hair day.
Yes.
You're doing fine.
I'm between permanents.
Oh, okay. Betty McAllister is going to give something back.
Well, I was a very lucky person. My husband was in the service as a pilot, World War II and Korea, and he survived without even a scratch. So I do this to pay back for all the other problems some other people have.
People like Mr. Courier.
I think she's fantastic.
Yeah, she take care of you?
She does very good. Not only me, but everybody. She's here for everybody.
Even Mr. Schmidt.
This is Mr. Schmidt.
Does Betty treat you pretty well, Mr. Schmidt?
Oh yeah, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, she takes me out for dinner and stuff.
Oh yeah? Taking him out for dinner, huh?
I think he's got me mixed up with someone else.
Perhaps another volunteer who hands out arts and crafts, although there aren't many 78-year-olds who would try to fill those halls and brighten those rooms more than 40 hours a week for no pay and no recognition. Betty McAllister wouldn't have it any other way.
I like to keep busy. I've always worked all my life, and I like being with people. Okay. No, we get along
she
fine.
She loves us just like we love her. Really.
Even on a bad hair day, huh?
Even on a bad hair day.
It's nice to know in a world where they don't build them like they used to, folks like Naim Hersum still hammer out their work the old way, the very old way. Our John Miller visited the metal artist hard at work in Boise.
Naim Hersum's hammer is driven by a simple saying.
It's the thrill of the skill.
And the simple belief that God did a pretty good job with the leaf, so...
Don't do cheap imitations. And in the trade, you learn that as long as you know how to make tools,
then you will forever be making tools to make the tools of the age-old trade called French repoussé.
Well, I have something like 80 hammers up here.
And coffee can after coffee can of stakes and shaping devices hammered out and used at one time or another for one project or another over the last half-century.
Those 2 stakes I made 50 years ago. And still using them.
Well, Naim, you'd think after all this time you'd probably have all the tools you need, huh?
There are times when you think that, yes.
But then you want to hammer out the petals of a rose or the wings of a butterfly and, well...
You find out that that's not true.
What is true is Naim's passion for life's little details. You can find them around town if you know where to look.
The designs that you work on are unlimited.
And those designs make up everything from leaves right on down to grapes. Faced with so many delicate lines and curves, it often takes several trips to the old coffee can to capture the simplest.
And I'm still making hammers.
Knowing he'll never have enough to hammer out all of life's little details, but after 50 years, Naim Hersum is still trying.
Naim learned the trade after World War II. He even worked in Beverly Hills where there's a real market for it. Now he says he hammers mostly for fun. At work, he's a graphic designer. At home, he loves spending time with his dog. His hobby is wrapped around both. Brian Holmes brings us a story of a Nampa man who has turned that hobby into an internet moneymaker.
Matt Johnson's Akitas,
Ronan and Kibo.
lead a pretty simple life.
You're a good boy, Ronan.
A good day means a good walk.
Yeah, they love getting out.
But inside Matt's house,
Good dogs.
Ronan and Kibo become, well, a little more animated.
That's Aiko.
Who looks a lot like Kibo.
Absolutely.
That's because Matt's dogs are the central characters.
My male Akita is the main character.
In his comic called Dewclaw.
Well, Dewclaw is the small thumb-like appendage on a dog's front leg.
In Matt's world of webcomics, those thumbs have evolved.
Like dogs with thumbs. Dogs with thumbs. The human population is dying. And it has come down to essentially a civil war, and that's pretty much the premise of the story.
Matt's interest in stories started as a kid.
I've been drawing all my life, and I told my dad when I was 7 years old that I wanted to be a cartoonist. As I remember, he cringed. I remember that moment quite well. He was not impressed. This is pencils, and then this is inks.
Webcomics are more than just a hobby for Matt.
This is a kudo in a cockpit of a ship that he's actually stolen.
He's part of PV Comics, a collection of graphic designers and cartoonists.
There's 12 of us right now.
Who've turned comics into a corporation.
And you guys put all of your comics on the internet.
Right.
And people pay to look at them.
Correct. Again, we're just storytellers that want to tell a story.
To do that, Matt spends about 20 hours a week drawing Dewclaw, completing one episode in 1 month's time.
It's essentially a second part-time job. It really is.
As for Akibo,
star of the show,
yeah,
she seems to be handling her newfound fame.
She likes the way things are. She's pretty comfortable.
And Dad is finally impressed.
I think the thing that impresses him is that I'm still doing it. Fortunately, this room isn't a whole lot different.
Matt says you can download several Dewclaw screensavers or buy print versions of the comic at the PV Comics website.
Still to come on the Best of Idaho Life, some Treasure Valley kids are basking in their Basque culture. First, though, some very precious and fragile memories.
Isn't she cute?
One Idaho family celebrates the life of their Aunt Celia.
Welcome back to the Best of Idaho Life. It was like an early Christmas for a group of sisters and cousins in Nampa back in 1997. All thanks to an aunt who left an incredible load of luggage filled with turn-of-the-century treasures. Our John Miller was there for part of the unpacking.
If you're not careful, you might mistake the story of Aunt Celia's dollhouse for the story of Aunt Celia's suitcases.
Were you kind of surprised at the amount of suitcases there were?
We knew about how many suitcases there were.
All these and the ones in the basement and all the ones up in the garage.
And this must be all of them.
There's still about probably 40 or 50 more in storage that haven't been opened.
So for the last 5 months and after 30 years, Aunt Celia's nieces have been unpacking Aunt Celia's unbelievable doll collection.
Isn't she cute?
Well, Aunt Celia told us she had collected 10,000 dolls.
Jeez. She just collected. She didn't do anything else. She didn't clean house and she didn't cook.
And before she passed away last December, there's one very important thing she didn't tell the girls.
So you don't know where the keys are exactly?
No.
So Cousin Shirley quickly obtained a hammer and the nieces quickly obtained a bit of a problem.
We got boxes and baskets and boxes and shelves.
And basements and garages full of antique dolls and rag dolls, doll clothes and doll shoes and doll toys.
Oh, it's just overwhelming. We're just overwhelmed with the amount of things that she had.
How old would she be, would you guess?
Well, around the turn of the century, I would say.
Well, you're all like having Christmas here every day, huh?
Oh, we surely are.
That's right.
Beautiful dress we just took out of that one out front.
Oh, look at that.
Isn't that gorgeous?
Aunt Celia even threw in a few surprises.
She was very special.
With a special secret, it took 250 suitcases to conceal, and now a house full of nieces to reveal.
We've had a good time doing it, and we've learned a lot.
The sisters eventually held a sale to lighten their load of dolls. Well, there are a million ways to spend a lunch hour, but you need a million guesses before you could imagine how John Miller spent his lunch hour one November day in 1997. But here's a hint. It involves a little-known hobby that's taken off, or should we say, landing in Boise.
Why do they all show up here?
Well, there's nothing else like it.
Like what?
I don't know. I'm really not sure.
But Jim Collette knows one thing's for sure.
Big guy. Tell me that's not a thing of beauty.
That feeling that draws them to this very spot almost every day for almost every lunch hour.
5 times a week for almost 2 full years now.
To wait, watch, and wonder.
It's just a real neat feeling to know that, people are able to violate natural laws for a while.
So what do coworkers say about all this?
I think some of them think I'm nuts.
Nuts to come out here just to stick in some earplugs or listen to a scanner and work a crossword puzzle.
And maybe dream a little bit, huh?
Oh yeah. You think little kids who, want to play in the big leagues at baseballs get them. We're just like little kids out here, but we want to fly.
And though this club doesn't have a title and most members will never have a place in the cockpit,
you still got your place at the end of the runway, huh?
We sure do. It's just a wonderful feeling. Want some earplugs?
Gotta say, that does look like fun. Veteran plane watchers say they usually see about 8 to 10 scheduled landings every single day.
Still ahead, how a little crossing can go a long way for Treasure Valley youngsters. First, though, how other children are getting a leg up on their culture. The best of Idaho Life continues.
Welcome back. You can't miss with kids, especially the ones who visit the Basque Museum every Tuesday. Now, it's not the usual song and dance. It's one teacher and a few volunteers versus 60 kids learning about their culture, not afraid to kick up their heels along the way. Reporter John Miller met the teacher who's trying to keep them in step.
Dun, 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 dun.
Linda Baranaga is the lady in the long red shirt, long on patience with her short little kids.
How old were they here tonight?
Tonight, their ages 4 to 6. And Donnie, you and Nick can be a partner? I want to be his partner. His? That's a her. What are you talking about, silly goose?
Well, it has to do with the age when they still gotta go boy, boy, girl, girl, boy, boy.
It's a real traumatic thing, especially if you have to hold hands. Eddie no bates, quiero bestia.
So once you get past those barriers, it's just dancing.
It's dancing. Hold hands! And some nights it's controlled chaos.
Some would call that an unenviable task.
Lots of good teachers.
And one good musician, Dan the accordion man, trying to keep up.
I don't know, it's gonna be tough. They always go fast.
60 kids in all kicking up their heels amidst the instruments, tools, and arts and crafts of their culture.
But they all enjoy it, and they'll giggle, and they'll laugh, and they'll wiggle.
During the whole thumb-sucking thing, carrying their culture right on through the chicken dance.
Fly! Fly those chickens! It's fun. It's just fun.
You gotta love the chicken dance. Now, Linda says most of the kids will stick with Basque dancing until they're at least 14.
Later on the Best of Idaho Life, mutts that are strutting for a reason. And next, why did this retired couple cross the road?
He's good. He's really good.
To help local children get to the other side safely.
They may be the first people your kids see in the morning and the first people they forget after the school day is done. They're not exactly heroes, but sometimes the people who get your kids safely to school deserve a little recognition. Idaho Life reporter John Miller crossed paths, or should we say crossed streets, with a couple back in 1997.
There are a few reasons why you should know Don Little.
He's really good.
Yep, and he's pretty friendly.
Hi.
Good morning. How you doing today?
Boy, I'm a movie star today.
Of course, he's not quite as famous as a movie star.
No.
Not as well paid as a movie star.
No. If I had to depend on this for my livelihood, I'd starve to death.
But like Don says,
you can't fish every day, you know. You got to do something, you know.
He could spend the time with his wife, Maxine, but she's kind of busy not being a movie star over at Fairview and Cole.
So who's the more experienced crossing guard, you or your wife there?
I don't know. I'm getting too darn old to do anything anymore. I think she'd be the better cross guard.
I don't know about that. The kids like him better.
Well, I've got some pretty good kids over here.
Thank you.
You bet.
He's nice to people and he doesn't like say, hurry up, hurry up. He
doesn't yell.
When
he doesn't yell, huh? Just coaxes them safely along.
Come on! Atta boy.
Something of a mother duck with a large red stop sign.
Does he always get you across safely?
Oh, he's good. He's really good.
Maxine says it's just that he likes kids, hates sitting around, and even if sorting out this stop-and-go, do-walk, don't-walk world doesn't take a lot, it's good to know we have Don Little.
You smile big and pretty now.
Don and Maxine say they took those jobs to break up their days now that they're retired.
She's calling her dad to see if she can keep this pound puppy.
If you come down and look at her, you might want her.
Next on the Best of Idaho Life, a four-legged fundraiser with a two-part purpose.
Welcome back. We're about to meet some canine companions, dogs trained to assist people with disabilities. That kind of training takes money and people and, of course, dogs. So in an event designed to remind us of how much dogs need us and in some cases how much we need dogs, folks in Ketchum grabbed a leash and took their mutts for a strut. Here's John Miller.
No, you haven't.
Who's this?
This is Rachel.
Hi, Rachel.
Rachel's a pound puppy.
A pound puppy?
Yeah, I went and got her today from the animal shelter to walk her today.
Along with Maggie.
Come here, Maggie.
And Callie and this guy.
Sam.
Hi, Sam.
Hi, Sam.
Some of them need a home.
That's little orphan Annie.
Some of them need attention.
I think he's kind of frazzled.
Some of them, like Rachel, just need manners.
Oh, look at that, Rach.
That's why
Are we ready?
they need you. And maybe you need them.
You got to get one of these.
Oh, no.
It's the best remedy for depression that anything could ever be, is to have a dog like this.
That's why the animal shelter shows them off at this event, making Rachel something of a rental dog.
That's exactly right, a rental dog.
But that's only half of it. Some of these are dogs in training.
The Mud Strut is a fundraiser for Canine Companions for Independence, which is an organization that provides dogs for people with disabilities.
People like Paralympic skier Muffy Davis, who's waiting for her canine companion to get through training.
How's it going?
It's good. It's fun. Nice day. Great cause. Can't wait to get my doggy.
Of course, Gail Darley's rental dog was getting the best of her.
Come on, Rachel, let's go bye-bye. Come on. No. No. This is a joke.
So I'm guessing that the mutt strut's kind of a two-way thing here. It's people who are looking for dogs and dogs who are looking for people.
That's right. She's calling her dad to see if she can keep this pound puppy.
If you come down and look at her, you might want her.
And even if he doesn't, the hope is someone else will. Mutt strutting to make sure special dogs find special homes with the right people.
Have you ever wondered what's going on beneath Boise? Not a question likely to come up in conversation, but John Miller met a local man who set out to map the world beneath us.
When Steve Duggar shows up at a site like this one, he doesn't jump on a backhoe or a bulldozer. No, Steve gets on his bicycle.
This is the antenna.
And this is no ordinary backpack.
Actually, it's the radio receiver.
Because this is no ordinary bicycle.
This is my data logger.
And this certainly is no ordinary mission.
Well, be very honest with you. The mothership just beamed me down, and I'm calling for an airstrike in this subdivision.
Okay, relax. The truth is, Steve's just locating sewer lines using, believe it or not,
global positioning.
Global positioning system.
Communicating with the heavens here.
Talking to the satellites.
While tooling around on a bicycle, marking the sewers one after another, after another, after another, after another, after another.
You bet. Kind of monotonous at times, but it's better than being in the office.
The office where Steve maps his findings.
Well, these are various sections of the city.
But they've all got one thing in common.
They've all got manholes, huh?
All got manholes. Every dot here is a manhole.
One of 12,000 manholes in the city, likely mapped by the guy who wears the hat that stands for GPS, guy in charge.
Or the GPS geek.
That's what they call you, huh?
That's what they call me.
So it's kind of like satellites floating overhead so we can keep track of what's floating down below.
That's right.
Cruising through our neighborhoods, mapping our manholes, our satellite superhero making sure.
If all roads lead to Rome, all lines lead to
the sewer plant.
I gotcha.
That'll do it for now. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you again next week as we look at more of the best of Idaho life.
The nice guitar-y music.
It's a half-brained idea, but we're gonna give it a shot.
Don't worry, it's a rental.
It's got a good beat.
A wedding. At Walmart.
That's right.